Welcome to Sunday Sermons, brought to you by the Chapel Podcast Network. Let's grab our Bible and open up to the book of John, chapter 1, verses 1 through 18. And I'll read verse 14 for us now, as we prepare to hear from lead Pastor Travis Simone as he brings our Christmas Eve meditation. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. And we have seen his glory, glory as of the only Son from the Father, full of grace and truth.
What are you searching for? I know on Christmas Eve, all the kids know exactly what it is they are searching for under the tree tomorrow. But in the stillness of this evening, in the quiet of this space, it's worth pausing to ask, what are you really searching for? Recently, I was searching for a car. I've been back and forth a lot to Virginia Beach, helping my parents this fall. My sister has come down from New York City on a couple of occasions to help as well. And at one point, I gave her my dad's car to use while she was at our parents' house helping. And then I was back in Williamsburg. And she had an early morning flight out of the Norfolk airport. I said, just drive dad's car to the airport. And when I come back to help again, I'll make sure I pick it up. So she texts me, she says, I'm back in New York. I left the car in daily parking. I said, Dad's car? She said, Dad's car. I said, Dad's Hyundai Tucson, just confirming. Yes, Dad's Hyundai Tucson, daily parking, Norfolk Airport, got it. So I had a friend that was coming this way, and they were willing to drop me off at the airport. But the problem was she had an appointment that she had to get to, and I didn't want her to get into all the mess of the airport. I think if you go all the way in, you're gonna get stuck, and you gotta go around all this stuff, and traffic, and police officers directing things. I said, just drop me off at this intersection, and I will walk in. And so she did, and then she took a left, and boom, she was back on the highway off to her appointment. And I walked up to daily parking thinking it would be easy to find the car, except that there was daily parking A, B, C, D, and E. And it was just this maze of a parking garage. So I started walking around. Maybe she made it simple. Maybe she just put it right up against the airport in A. And after some time, I was a bit frustrated with my sister that she did not provide me with more specific directions to find the car. So I started making phone calls. Now, in our family, we have a rule. If you really want to get someone's attention, you can call twice. But if you call 3 times, there's got to be blood. Someone needs to be bleeding. It needs to be a real emergency to give the 3rd call. So this is what we call in my family great moments in hypocrisy. I called over and over again. I couldn't believe it. How is she leaving me high and dry? I told her when I was going to the airport. Well, after over an hour and 2.42 miles, I finally gave up. And I sought salvation in Philip, the Uber driver. Philip, take me home, man. But there was one final gut punch that was left for me in this whole situation. As my sister confirmed, it's Dad's Hyundai Tucson. Philip just happened to be driving a Hyundai Tucson. You can't make this up. So there I am leaving in the airport in a Hyundai Tucson. Just not my dad's Hyundai Tucson. And what I learned in that moment, besides how frustrated one can get with a sibling, is this. Everyone is searching for something. Everyone is searching for something. See, as I wandered around that parking garage, I had the little clicker, the little key fob. And someone once told me when I was a little kid, if you put it up your chin, your body acts like an antenna. It extends the range. So I'm walking around like this. But here's what I found. Other people too were walking around like this. Because I would hear horns go off and go, there it is. It was just someone else searching for their something. Everyone in life is searching for something, much more than you're searching for a car in a garage. And the Apostle John knows this Christmas Eve exactly what you're searching for. John chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. See, the Word represented three ideas to John's audience: the revelation of God, wisdom from God, and the organizing principle of the universe. The Word was revelation from God, represented by the long sought after moments when the Word of God would come to the prophets of old. Here's an example from the book of Jeremiah, Jeremiah 1:4. Now the word of the Lord came to me saying. Can you imagine the excitement of that moment? Can you imagine the anticipation of that moment? Something that I could not know unless it was revealed to me by God has come to me, and I am now going to share it with you. Everyone wants to know what God is, where God is, who God is. Everyone wants to know what God thinks. Everyone is searching for something. And John knows you are searching for a revelation from God. But it's not just a revelation from God. The Word was wisdom from God as well. John tells us that the Word was with God in the beginning. This would bring his readers back to Proverbs 8, where wisdom is depicted as a person who speaks, who has things to say. This is what wisdom has to say. When he, that is God, established the heavens, I, that is wisdom, was there. When God established creation, I, wisdom, was there. A little later on in the chapter, wisdom says, for whoever finds me finds life and obtains favor from the Lord. But he who fails to find me injures himself. All who hate me love death. No one loves death. No one wants to injure himself or herself. What everyone wants is wisdom for life. Everyone wants to know how to make the right decision in the midst of difficult circumstances. Everyone wants the wisdom to know what to say and what not to say in the toughest moments of life, when tragedy strikes, when betrayal hits, when there's a wound which will not heal. Everyone is searching for something. And John knows you are searching for wisdom from God. And John knows we're all searching for the organizing principle of the universe. The Word had such a depth of meaning that even people who were not shaped by the Bible discussed it. In John's day, Stoic philosophers believed there was some type of rational principle that held the universe together. They referred to this concept as the Word. Everyone wants to know what holds the world together. Everyone wants to understand the deeper logic at the core of their identity. Who am I really? What is the world really? Everyone wants to know what gives meaning and purpose to life. Everyone is searching for something. And John knows you are searching for the organizing principle of the universe. These three ideas of the Word are represented in the three great questions of existence. What is God? How should I live? Why am I here? And John sums it all up in verse 4. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. What everyone's really looking for is life, real life, true life. As we'll read later in the gospel, abundant life. And this life is the Word. In the Word is life. Everyone is searching for something. And what John knows is deep down, at the end of the day, when you add it all up, what we're really searching for is the Word. And John doesn't just know what you're searching for. John knows you haven't found what you're searching for. Verses 9 through 11. The true light, which gives light to everyone, was coming into the world. He was in the world, and the world was made through him, yet the world did not know him. He came to his own, and his own people did not receive him. These verses are just dripping with irony. That which made the world did not recognize. Imagine a father coming to his children with extravagant gifts in his hands, and yet the kids are too busy with other pursuits to notice. As Philip drove me away from the airport, I was a bit steaming on the inside. My sister finally calls me back. I said, I'm in an Uber, I'm driving away, I'll get Dad's car later. She goes, no, I'm so sorry, I can tell you where it is. I said, I'm already 10 minutes beyond the airport, I can't go back. She said, no, please go get the car. I said, okay, Philip, are you willing to go back to the airport? It was a good thing Philip was from some kind of Caribbean island. He turns to me, he says, you've got to flow like water, man. And he turns around, he heads back to the airport. Ashley describes it. Philip pulls me right up. But here's the fascinating thing. I was never actually going to find the car on the first time around. As Ashley said, it's in daily parking because we found it in hourly parking. Again, we search for what we need in all the wrong places. I search for what I need in all the wrong places. John says, I know what you're searching for. And I know you haven't found it. And I know why you haven't found it. Because you're not looking where life really is. The word came to you, and you did not recognize it. But John knows one more thing. John knows the Word is searching for you. Verse 14. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. And we have seen his glory, glory as of the only Son from the Father, full of grace and truth. The revelation of God came searching for you. Wisdom from God came searching for you. The organizing principle of the whole cosmos came searching for you. Everyone is searching for something. And that life that you've always felt was just out of reach, and the light you've longed to shine into the darkness, that light, that word is searching for you. And you might think, well, how could an abstract idea like the word make a personal search for me? John says the word became flesh. He goes on to write this in verse 16. For from his fullness we have all received grace upon grace. For the law was given through Moses. Grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. The word turns out to be a person. And that person is Jesus Christ. The word dwelt in verse 14 would have a rich biblical resonance with John's first readers. It can be easy for us to miss due to our distance from the time of his writing. It is the root word for tabernacle in the Old Testament. The tabernacle was a portable tent God instructed Moses to build as a place for his presence to dwell after the Exodus. The Exodus is both a historical event and a pattern for how God rescues his people. Part of the pattern is God's commitment to dwell among his people. And at the end of the book, God comes down to dwell, to be with, to be present among his people. But there's a problem. Here's how the book ends. Exodus chapter 40. Then the cloud covered the tent of meeting, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle, and Moses was not able to enter the tent of meeting because the cloud settled on it. And the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. The problem was God's presence was too thick for Moses to enter. God's glory too magnificent for Moses to behold. God's holiness too pure for impure Moses and the people. It is a cliffhanger of an ending to the most important story in the Old Testament. God says, I am coming to be with you. And God comes, and the people can't be with God. They can't get into where they want to go. They can't receive the promised presence. Then, finally, after more than 1,000 years of waiting, after prophet peered into the foggy future of God's plan, and God's people ached for a breakthrough, John finishes the story. And the Word became flesh and dwelt, tabernacled among us. It's God saying, if you could not get into my world, I'll get into your world. If you couldn't find me, I'll find you. See, to understand Christmas is to understand this. What you've been searching for is searching for you. The Word is searching for you. One Old Testament scholar I read commented on Exodus 40 like this: God has taken up habitation, not in the world's grand palaces, but among a slave band in the wilderness. He still does. What Moses longed to see is now available to all who place their ultimate hope and trust in Jesus Christ, the Word made flesh. Whatever wilderness circumstances you find yourself in, the Word comes to dwell among you today. Whatever dry and thirsty land you've been living in, the Word did not seek out the palace. He sought the slave band in the wilderness for all who are enslaved to sin and its consequence, death. The Word is searching to tabernacle in you. In this moment, if you sense that everything you've ever searched for is searching for you right now, get silent and come back. You see, you can only hear the words someone speaks to you if you are quiet enough to listen. Only the silent can hear the word. As we sing Silent Night, get silent. Come to the end of your searching, and the Word made flesh, Jesus Christ, will search for and find you. I trust He can find you tonight. And come back. You see, in John 14, John stops talking about God in the third person. All the way through the prologue, from verse 1 to verse 13, John speaks in the third person about God. And then all of a sudden, verse 14, John switches from third person about God to first person experience of God. We have seen His glory, John writes. See, the glory is most clearly seen in community, in the gathered family of faith. In January, we'll be talking about God's gift of rest. in a culture of exhaustion. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, I hope you'll come back and begin learning how to experience God first person alongside a community of fellow learners and doers. Recently, I heard an interview with the well-known actor Anthony Hopkins. The interviewer, it sounded like he took a long time to land this interview. He was quite smitten with Hopkins and his work. And the recurrent theme throughout the conversation was how impressed the interviewer was with all that Hopkins had done. And he was trying to get Hopkins to say, yeah, I'm impressed too. And Hopkins wouldn't take the bait. He kept saying, don't you think these movies you made have great meaning and value? And Hopkins would say, they're just films. It's entertainment, that's it. And the interviewer would say, but you've won 2 Academy Awards. You've starred in more than 80 plus feature films, and not just any films, movies that shaped the cultural conversation. And Hopkins would say, I don't think so. The interview ends with one last attempt to get Anthony Hopkins to put meaning on his storied career. He said, Sir Anthony, I realize I'm dancing around a question that I would like your answer to. Do you think your life has had meaning? And after a long pause, Sir Anthony Hopkins very slowly and deliberately said this: the only meaning I can put to it is that everything I sought and yearned for found me. I didn't find it. It came to me. The Word is searching for you. Everything you seek and yearn for in life is searching for you. And it comes to you in, as, and through Jesus Christ, the living Word, searching for you this Christmas.
Thanks for joining us today. Here at the chapel, we are all about making disciples of Jesus Christ. And we hope you'll join us as we walk the Exodus way and learn to trust God on the way out of Egypt, the way between in the wilderness, and the way into His presence.